The moments when we first open our eyes to the day, when the world outside our eyelids begins to softly announce its presence. These are truly sacred moments. It is a delicate passage, a journey from one state of being to another, from the deep restorative embrace of yin, of darkness and rest, to the gentle unfolding of yang, of light and activity. Our entire system, our body, our mind, our energy, is in a state of profound stillness, much like a calm lake at dawn before the first breeze ripples its surface. The internal environment is one of minimal demand, of quiet repair and integration from the day, or perhaps days prior. Think of a plant in the deep of night, gathering its resources, its life force held in quiet potential, waiting for the sun's first touch to begin the slow, deliberate process of unfurling. Our bodies are no different in these early moments. The blood flows gently, the breath is soft and shallow. The mind is, ideally, clear and unburdened, still connected to the dream state or the deep peace of unconsciousness. This is a time of immense vulnerability, but also of immense potential for setting a course of harmony for the entire day ahead. To honor this transition is to honor the very rhythms that sustain our life. It is a quiet dialogue with our own nature. We often forget in our modern haste the profound intelligence inherent in these natural cycles. The wisdom of the body speaks in whispers, especially in these moments of quietude. It asks for a gentle awakening, a gradual return to the world of doing and interacting. Imagine trying to force a tightly closed bud to bloom by prying its petals apart. You would only damage its delicate structure. Similarly, our internal systems, our circulation, our nervous system, our energetic pathways, they require a respectful, unhurried invitation to awaken. The energy, the qi, that has been consolidating and nurturing us through the night is still in a delicate balance. It is not yet ready for vigorous movement or sharp demands. This period is like the very early morning light, still soft, still diffuse, not yet the full strength of the midday sun. To rush this process is to create an internal jolt, a disturbance that ripples through our entire being, often in ways we do not immediately perceive. But these subtle disturbances, repeated day after day, can accumulate, leading to a kind of internal friction, a resistance within the flow of our life energy. Understanding this gentle beginning is the first step towards aligning ourselves with a more sustainable, more nourishing way of living, particularly as the seasons of our own lives advance. The energy within us at this time is like water that has settled in a deep well overnight, clear and undisturbed. If you were to suddenly plunge a bucket into this well with great force, you would stir up sediment, clouding the water and disrupting its peace. Our internal environment, especially concerning our circulation and the intricate network of vessels that carry our lifeblood, is very much like this settled water in the early morning. The transition from a predominantly horizontal posture during sleep to an upright, active state needs to be managed with awareness and care. The heart, which has been beating at a slower, more restful pace, needs time to adjust to the increased demand of pumping blood against gravity and to supply the brain and limbs as they begin to engage with the day. This is not merely a mechanical process, it is an energetic one. The flow of qi and blood are intimately connected. A harmonious flow is smooth, unobstructed, and appropriately paced for the body's needs. When we respect this early morning state, we allow this flow to naturally and gradually increase its tempo, like a gentle stream that widens and quickens as it moves towards the sea, rather than a torrent released suddenly from a broken dam. This respect forms the foundation for a day that unfolds with greater ease and vitality, supporting the body's inherent capacity for balance and well-being. Consider also the state of the mind in these first waking moments. Often, it is still tethered to the realm of dreams, or it exists in a space of quiet observation before the usual cascade of thoughts, plans, and worries begins. This is a precious window of opportunity. It is a moment where we can choose the quality of energy we invite into our mental space. If the first action is one of abruptness, of jarring the body awake, the mind often follows suit, becoming agitated, stressed, or immediately preoccupied with the demands of the day. This creates an internal environment of tension right from the outset. But if the body is allowed to awaken gently, the mind too can transition with greater peace. It can become a space of calm awareness, a receptive vessel ready to greet the day with clarity rather than reactivity. This connection between the physical state and the mental emotional state is fundamental. One always influences the other. By cultivating a gentle physical awakening, we are simultaneously cultivating a more serene and centered mental disposition, which is a cornerstone of enduring health. This understanding is not about adding complicated rituals, but about subtracting the harshness, the abruptness that has become so common in our busy lives, and instead reintroducing a simple, profound respect for our own natural rhythms. Abrupt shock. Now, let us consider what happens when this gentle transition is disregarded, when the stillness of the morning is shattered by an abrupt call to action. This is the common mistake, the pattern so many of us fall into, often without realizing the subtle yet significant stress it places upon our entire system. Imagine being in a deep, peaceful sleep, and suddenly a loud alarm clock blares, or you jolt upright in bed, your mind instantly racing towards the day's obligations. This is not a gradual awakening, it is a shock. It is like throwing open the doors of a warm, quiet sanctuary to a sudden howling wind. The body, still in its deeply restful yin state, is forced to shift into an active yang state with alarming speed. The heart rate accelerates dramatically, blood pressure can surge, and stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol flood the system to cope with this perceived emergency. For the body doesn't distinguish between a genuine threat and the self-imposed threat of a rushed morning. It simply responds to the demand for immediate high-level readiness. This internal alarm state, triggered first thing in the morning, sets a tone of agitation and pressure that can linger throughout the day. This sudden demand on the body is akin to starting a cold engine in the dead of winter and immediately revving it to its maximum. An engine needs time to warm, for the oil to circulate, for all its parts to come to a state of readiness. Our bodies, infinitely more complex and sensitive, require no less. When we leap out of bed, perhaps already feeling behind schedule, or immediately reach for our phones, flooding our minds with information, notifications, and the energies of the outside world, we bypass the body's need for a gentle ramp-up. The muscles, still relaxed from sleep, are suddenly tensed. The breath, which was slow and deep, becomes shallow and hurried. The nervous system, which was in a parasympathetic dominant state, rest and digest, is abruptly thrown into a sympathetic dominant state, fight or flight. This creates an internal discord, a physiological jolt that our systems have to work hard to manage. And while a younger, more resilient system might absorb these shocks with less apparent consequence, these daily micro-traumas, repeated over years and decades, begin to take their toll. They contribute to a chronic underlying stress that can weaken our resilience over time, making us more susceptible to imbalances. The impact of this abruptness is not just physical. It profoundly affects our energetic and mental states. When we shock the system awake, the flow of qi, which should be gently encouraged to circulate and energize the body for the day, can become erratic or blocked. Imagine a calm river suddenly encountering a series of large boulders dropped into its path. The water becomes turbulent, its flow disrupted. Similarly, this sudden rush can create stagnation or irregular patterns in our internal energy, which from the perspective of traditional wisdom is a precursor to disharmony and illness. The mind too is immediately pulled from a state of potential calm into one of activity, often anxiety. Instead of starting the day with a sense of inner peace and groundedness, we begin with a feeling of being rushed, of being immediately on the defensive, trying to catch up. This mental state then colors our perceptions and interactions for hours to come. We are less patient, less mindful, more reactive. The opportunity to cultivate a calm, centered presence from the beginning of the day is lost, replaced by a cycle of stress that feeds itself. This is not a supportive way to nurture our well-being, especially as we seek to maintain vitality and balance through all stages of life. Think of the ancient practice of greeting the sun. of acknowledging the dawn. These were not merely poetic gestures, they were rooted in a deep understanding of our connection to natural rhythms. The sun does not suddenly appear in the sky at full strength. It rises gradually, gently transforming darkness into light. Our awakening should ideally mirror this natural process. The mistake lies in imposing an artificial urgency on a natural rhythm. This might manifest as jumping out of bed the moment the alarm sounds, skipping any form of gentle transition, and immediately engaging in mentally stimulating or physically demanding tasks. It could be the habit of checking emails or news headlines while still in bed, instantly flooding the mind with external pressures and often negative information, which triggers a physiological stress response even before our feet touch the floor. These actions, seemingly small and insignificant in isolation, collectively constitute a significant shock to the system. They deny the body and mind the crucial moments they need to recalibrate, to shift gears smoothly from rest to activity. This denial, this repeated abruptness, is the hidden stressor that, over time, can chip away at our foundational health and create vulnerabilities where none might otherwise exist. It's a pattern that we often adopt unconsciously, driven by the perceived demands of modern life, but it is a pattern that we have the power to change. Internal pressure. When we speak of this morning mistake, this abrupt transition from rest to activity, and its particular relevance for those over 60, we must consider how such a shock impacts the body's internal environment, especially the cardiovascular system. As we age, our bodies naturally undergo changes. Blood vessels may become less elastic, the heart may have to work a little harder to maintain circulation, and the body's ability to rapidly adapt to sudden changes in demand can diminish. This is a natural part of the aging process, but it also means that our systems become more sensitive to stressors that a younger body might more easily accommodate. When you jolt the system awake, causing that sudden surge in heart rate and blood pressure, you are placing an acute strain on this intricate network of vessels. Imagine an older, perhaps slightly more brittle hosepipe that suddenly has water forced through it at a much higher pressure than it's accustomed to. The risk of it developing a weakness or even a rupture increases. Similarly, for blood vessels that may have some degree of accumulated plaque or reduced flexibility, these sudden hemodynamic stresses are not insignificant. This is not intended to cause alarm, but to foster a deeper understanding and respect for the body's wisdom and its changing needs over time. The connection between a sudden, sharp increase in internal pressure, whether it's blood pressure or the energetic equivalent of a surge that obstructs flow, and the risk of an event like a stroke is one that traditional wisdom has implicitly understood for centuries by emphasizing harmony and gentle transitions. A stroke, in very simple terms, often involves a disruption of blood flow to the brain, either through a blockage or a rupture of a vessel. While many factors contribute to stroke risk, including diet, lifestyle, and genetic predispositions, the consistent, daily imposition of abrupt stress on the cardiovascular system, particularly first thing in the morning when the body is still transitioning, can be a contributing factor that often goes unrecognized. It's like repeatedly bending a wire in the same spot. Eventually it weakens and may break. These morning shocks are like those repeated bends. They create small cumulative stresses that can, over time, contribute to the conditions that make a more serious event possible. The wisdom lies in recognizing that what might have been tolerated with little apparent effect in our youth requires more mindful consideration as we mature. This is not about limitation, but about refinement in how we care for ourselves. The body over 60 has accumulated a lifetime of experiences, and its systems have worked diligently for decades. It deserves a more gentle, respectful approach. The morning mistake of abrupt awakening can create a cascade. The nervous system is startled, stress hormones are released, the heart is made to pump harder and faster, and blood vessels are subjected to a sudden increase in pressure. If there are pre-existing vulnerabilities, perhaps unnoticed, this sudden demand can become the trigger that overwhelms the system's capacity to cope. It's like a sudden gust of wind hitting an old tree. If the roots are shallow or the branches are brittle, that gust can cause significant damage. By choosing a gentler way to begin the day, we are in essence protecting our roots and nurturing the resilience of our branches. This understanding helps us to see that practices of mindful awakening are not just pleasantries. They are profound acts of self-preservation and health cultivation. Moreover, this internal pressure is not solely physical. The energetic system, the flow of qi, is also deeply impacted. Traditional Chinese medicine, for instance, speaks of the importance of smooth and unobstructed qi flow for health. Sudden shocks, whether physical or emotional, are seen as primary causes of qi stagnation or rebellious qi flowing in the wrong direction. When qi becomes blocked or flows erratically, it can lead to a buildup of pressure in certain areas or a deficiency in others, creating imbalances that can manifest as physical symptoms over time. The head and the brain are particularly sensitive to disruptions in the smooth ascent of clear yang qi. If this ascent is too forceful, too rushed, or obstructed, it can contribute to feelings of dizziness, headaches, and in more severe long-term scenarios, it can be a factor in conditions affecting the brain's vascular health. Therefore, managing the way we transition from the yin of sleep to the yang of wakefulness is crucial for maintaining not only cardiovascular health in the Western sense, but also for ensuring the harmonious and balanced flow of our vital life energy, which is a cornerstone of well-being from a holistic perspective. This internal harmony is what truly supports enduring strength and vitality as we age. Gentle path. So, what is the alternative? If the abrupt shock is the mistake, then the gentle path, the mindful transition, is the remedy. It is a way of honoring that sacred space between sleep and full wakefulness, and it is profoundly simple, accessible to everyone, and requires no special equipment, only a shift in awareness and intention. It begins even before you fully open your eyes, or just as you do. Instead of jolting upright, allow yourself a few moments, perhaps a minute or two, to simply lie still. Become aware of your body, the feeling of the bed supporting you, the warmth of your blankets. Listen to the sounds around you without judgment, simply noticing. This small pause is an act of kindness to yourself, a signal to your nervous system that all is well, that there is no immediate emergency. It allows the mind to gently surface from the depths of sleep rather than being violently pulled. This simple act of stillness is the first step on the gentle path. Then, introduce gentle movement while still lying down. This could be as simple as wiggling your fingers and toes, then slowly flexing and pointing your feet, rotating your ankles. These small movements begin to gently encourage circulation, sending a soft signal to your body that it is time to prepare for activity. You might then slowly stretch your arms above your head, feeling a gentle extension through your spine. Perhaps bring your knees towards your chest, one at a time, or both together if comfortable, giving your lower back a gentle release. These are not vigorous exercises, but rather soft, mindful awakenings of the joints and muscles. The key is to move slowly, consciously, and with your breath. As you stretch, inhale deeply, and as you release, exhale fully. This synchronization of movement and breath is incredibly powerful. It helps to calm the nervous system, oxygenate the body, and gently stimulate the flow of qi. It's like the sun's rays slowly warming the earth, coaxing life to awaken in its own time. Once you have brought some gentle movement into your limbs, you can gradually move to a seated position. Don't just sit bolt upright. Perhaps roll onto your side first, pause for a moment, and then use your arms to slowly push yourself up to sit on the edge of the bed. Let your feet rest on the floor. Take another moment here. Feel the connection of your feet to the ground. Notice your posture. Take a few more conscious breaths. This pause before standing is crucial. It allows your blood pressure to stabilize as your body adjusts to the change in orientation from horizontal to vertical. This simple act alone can significantly reduce any feelings of dizziness or lightheadedness that some people experience upon rising too quickly, and it lessens that sudden demand on the heart and circulatory system. This progressive, stepped approach from lying to gentle movement in bed to sitting and then finally to standing, respects the body's physiological needs for gradual adaptation. Before you even think about the day's tasks or reach for any devices, consider incorporating a brief moment of gratitude or positive intention. While still seated, or perhaps after you've stood up and done a few more gentle stretches, take a minute to think of something you are grateful for, or set a simple, positive intention for your day. Perhaps to be patient or to find joy in small things. This helps to cultivate a positive mental and emotional state from the very beginning. Hydration is also a key element of this gentle path. After many hours without fluid, your body is naturally a little dehydrated. A glass of warm water, perhaps with a little lemon if you like, can be a wonderful way to gently cleanse the system and rehydrate before you consume any food or caffeine. These practices, stillness, gentle movement, mindful breathing, gradual rising, positive intention, and hydration, are not time-consuming. Even 5 to 10 minutes dedicated to this gentle awakening process can transform the way you feel, not just in the morning, but throughout your entire day. It replaces the shock with a sense of calm preparedness, laying a foundation of inner balance upon which the rest of your day can be built. This is the gentle path, a path of self-respect and profound self-care. Lasting harmony. The true power of adopting this gentle morning path lies not just in the immediate feeling of calm or the avoidance of that initial shock to the system, but in the cumulative effect it has on our overall well-being and resilience over time. Each morning that you choose this mindful transition, you are making a deposit into your bank of health and vitality. It is like consistently tending to a garden. With regular care, appropriate watering, and gentle cultivation, it flourishes and becomes more robust, more capable of withstanding the occasional storm. Similarly, by consistently starting your day with practices that soothe the nervous system, promote healthy circulation, and cultivate a peaceful mind, you are strengthening your body's innate capacity for balance and self-healing. This isn't merely about mitigating a risk, it is about actively cultivating a state of lasting harmony from within. This internal harmony becomes a wellspring of enduring strength, particularly as we navigate the natural changes that come with aging. Consider the long-term implications for your cardiovascular health. By avoiding those daily surges in blood pressure and stress hormones, you are significantly reducing the chronic wear and tear on your heart and blood vessels. Over months and years, this gentle approach helps to maintain vascular elasticity, supports healthier blood pressure levels, and reduces the overall burden on your circulatory system. This is a profound investment in your long-term health, potentially diminishing the likelihood of developing conditions that are often associated with chronic stress and abrupt physiological shocks. But the benefits extend far beyond just the physical. A calm, centered start to the day has a ripple effect on your mental and emotional well-being. You may find yourself more patient, more resilient in the face of daily stressors, less prone to anxiety or irritability. Your cognitive functions like focus and clarity can also improve when your mind isn't starting the day in a state of frazzled reactivity. This holistic improvement in well-being is the hallmark of true health. This practice of gentle awakening also fosters a deeper connection with yourself, with your own body's wisdom. As you pay more attention to how you feel, as you learn to listen to those subtle signals your body sends, you become more attuned to your own needs. This increased self-awareness is invaluable. It empowers you to make choices throughout your day that support your well-being, not just in the morning, but in how you eat, how you move, how you rest, and how you manage stress. It's a journey of rediscovering an intuitive understanding that often gets lost in the noise and rush of modern life. This connection is, in itself, a source of strength and resilience. When you are deeply connected to yourself, you are better able to navigate life's challenges with grace and equilibrium. The morning ritual becomes a daily reminder of this connection, a reaffirmation of your commitment to your own inner peace and physical health. Ultimately, the lasting harmony that arises from these simple morning practices is about more than just avoiding a specific health risk. It is about enhancing the quality of your life, enriching your experience of each day. It's about greeting the world with a sense of calm vitality rather than stressed urgency. It's about preserving your energy so that you can engage more fully and joyfully with the people and activities you love. This approach transforms aging from something to be resisted into a process that can be embraced with wisdom and vitality. The strength that endures is not just physical, it is an inner strength, a resilience of spirit that is cultivated through these consistent mindful actions. And this leads us to the most crucial understanding, the core insight that ties all of this together, revealing the profound power held within these seemingly small adjustments to the very beginning of our day. This insight can truly reshape how we approach our well-being for the rest of our lives. The final insight, the deepest understanding we can reach from this exploration, is the profound and often underestimated power of small, consistent, mindful actions in shaping our entire life's energy, health, and well-being. It is not about grand, complicated regimens or drastic overhauls. True, lasting harmony is cultivated in the gentle repetition of simple wisdom, in returning to the natural rhythms that our bodies intuitively understand. That morning mistake, the abrupt shock to our system, is significant, not just as an isolated incident, but because the morning sets the energetic blueprint for the entire day. By consciously choosing a gentle, mindful awakening, we are not just avoiding a potential risk, we are actively composing a day of greater peace, clarity, and resilience. This seemingly small adjustment, a few minutes of conscious transition, holds immense power because it compounds. Day after day, this intentional kindness to ourselves builds a foundation of inner stability and vitality that supports us through all of life's seasons. This is the path to enduring strength, not by fighting against our nature, but by aligning with its deep, quiet wisdom.